Hi everybody, how y'all doing today? Oh my gosh, welcome to another episode of Black Society's Healing Hotspot. I'm your host Najee Talley, and today's episode we're going to be talking about the documentary Quiet on Set. But before we even get into the documentary, I just wanted to touch on like one or two things right fast. And pretty much the first thing with Black Society, as you may know, that is my sponsor, being it's the Healing Hotspot. And they heard my idea, they listened to what I wanted to pitch on mental health. And I'm sorry y'all, the fire alarm. This is the life of being in Richmond. Okay, it's not fun. I pitched my idea to them about how I just wanted to add, mental health towards their cause of, providing resources, knowledge, all that to, the Black community. However, with Black Society and including the Healing Hotspot, that does not discriminate us from, giving advice or just, if let me rephrase this, okay? Other races are included to partake and listen or even, share their voice in mental health as well on the podcast. It's not just specifically targeting the Black audience just because it does say Black Society. I can see how that can be misconstrued, but it is about targeting, my experience as a young Black woman, being a young adult and dealing with mental health. Yes, I talk about my experience as a Black woman. However, it's not discriminating or saying that if you're of another race, you cannot listen to it. No. That's not the case at all. Because I still want to support mental health no matter, mental health is still a big deal. I thought the car was going to keep going and that was going to ruin the video. But I'm going to clip this out. Mental health is important, like I say, just as important as the physical. And that's not, specifically towards one race or one gender. It's towards everyone. Black Society is the name because we talk about our experiences and provide resources, but that does not discriminate. And you can even look on the website as well and read that. I just wanted to clear that up because, yes, I've interviewed Black people. And yes, I talk about experience and include Black facts, but I just want to let it be known that it is not just specifically targeting one audience. I'm targeting all young adults that deal with mental health. I just wanted to clear that up because I don't want to put on a persona that is not me, and I want to make sure everyone takes care of their mental health, just especially the Black community. That is all on that part. And the second announcement that I wanted to say is a recent episode on my sponsor's podcast, Mr. Gilbert Wilkerson. We did an episode together and it'll probably be available on Spotify soon. I'll put a date in the description whenever I get one. If not, you can tune into him on Spotify and I believe on TikTok as well. His views have blew up tremendously. And he's almost TikTok famous, even though now TikTok is about to be banned. That's a whole different story for a whole different day. However, I just wanted to say that, two announcements. Black Society is not, just one body of people. It is about mental health overall for young adults. That's why it's called the Healing Hotspot. It's just my sponsor's name is Black Society. And two, I'll be on talking with my sponsor, Mr. Gilbert Wilkerson, on his podcast too. So be sure to tune into that. That will all be in the description below. But that was just the announcements. So let's get on to the video. The Quiet on Set documentary is about behind the scenes of Nickelodeon. The all smiles and giggles of young child actors. It's way much more than that. And if you've already watched it, you definitely understand where I'm coming from in seeing how traumatic it actually was. Like, this should have been headlined way bigger than it actually was. Especially during the time that everything was happening. I think it was between the 1990s to mid 2000s. This should have been way of a bigger deal. But a lot of it was swept under the rug because people can manipulate power. And, Dan Schneider is definitely a person that had power and used it to his benefit. And, with the documentary, it was just, I wanted to talk about it because I just noticed a lot of, I saw how mental health really, is important to no matter like where, how, like this, it hit where I say that mental health is just as important as the physical. Trauma can impact both mental and physical. Like with the documentary, it started off with talking about the female writers and how they just wanted to be a part of the team, show their work. They put in the effort. They put in more than almost the men. And they were underpaid, cut from, and it was just like threatened, sexualized. It's terrible. And I send my love for them because they had to make hard decisions and realizing it's my mental. I got to put my mental first. I got to put my health first. And I give them props. I'm going to let you know now, I can't think of anybody's names from the documentary. My mind, I can't remember anything. However, doesn't change the fact that everybody in that documentary, maybe one day, hopefully they can watch this video and, just let them know that I send my love and I'm proud of them, but coming from the female writers to the black actors and, sorry, not just the black actors, but like just all of them, like in general, they experienced so much like manipulation of their feelings, and it was just weird because of the fact that they were like put in numerous uncomfortable situations to the point where like they're kids, so they're not grasping what they're doing. They're not understanding of, well, why am I doing this, or why am I wearing this, why do I have to say this, or why do I have to get shot in the face with goo. That now as an adult, I look back at these TV shows and I'm just like, that is wrong. That is so wrong on so many levels because they're kids. And I get it. Like, it's supposed to be funny, but like these are kids, and some of the jokes ain't meant to be there. Like, I now understand why my family was peculiar. Like, they were, kind of iffy about certain shows. Like, I think I was with Nickelodeon for a while, and then I ended up being a PBS kid, which I probably have to look into PBS Kids as well, because I'm like, if they're doing this with Nickelodeon, how are Cartoon Network? How are Disney? Like, how are these other shows? What happened behind the scenes of them? Because I'm like, Nickelodeon is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like, the treatment, with the female writers and all the way to the actors. And then the staff is like, y'all didn't pay attention to y'all staff being weird. Like, these are kids. Children. Like, not even adults. Like, below 18 type stuff. That's not it. And it's like, at a young age, the brain, I want to say it was a statistic of saying like the brain isn't even fully developed until like the age of 25 or even further up. I may be wrong, but like, these kids are like, you traumatize them so young to the point where like this is stuck in their brain forever. Like, for the rest of their life, they're going to keep remembering this. And that's why I applaud Drake Bell for coming out and talking about, what happened. If he ever watches this, I want to give him a hug or like meet him and just like thank him so much for speaking out in a situation like that. Like, that is something so traumatic to the point where it's like he said, he never thought he would have like be given the day where he'll talk about it, like he just kind of shut himself out or even tried to forget it. Like, it was just so traumatic. And I hate the fact that all of them like wasn't even around that. It's not something that we would want around our kids. Predators and just manipulation and just it was terrible. And I want to say the biggest reason why I chose to talk about it was because I loved how all of them, all now adults, talked about how therapy has impacted their lives tremendously. Like, all of them talked to a therapist. Like, the black guy, I can't think of his name, bless his soul, I'm so sorry I forget names, but like he talked about how he has a schedule with his therapist, every certain amount of days, like Tuesday and Thursday, or some people just try to see a therapist once or twice a month. I felt like this was this documentary showed the result of how effective therapy is and finding those coping strategies and finding those methods that are, going to be, going to help you grow from the situation that happened. And oh man, I'm sorry. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry on the internet. This is crazy. But I just want to say, like, that was just so traumatic, and I'm proud of all of them for even coming out to this documentary and just talking about their experiences with Nickelodeon, because it's just like behind the scenes makes you think, imagine so many other things that we don't know that happen behind the scenes, or things that we overlook. Like I think there was so many opportunities for people to come out or say something, or did say something, and it was overlooked because people knew how to manipulate power. Like, man, I think that's all of history, just people manipulating power. Like, it's wrong. Like, it's so wrong. Like, with police brutality, they can get away with so much stuff. Like, no one apparently is talking about how, I forgot what happened, but like, or where it was, but I know it's further in the South where like people killed police killed a person, and the mama was looking, and the police just lied about it, or just wasn't responding to her, and they're buried along with 300 people behind the jail. Like, no one's talking about it. It's not headlined. It's just probably in like 2 or 3 newsletters. No one's talking about it. Like, and then the fact that now when she tries to like unbury her son that wasn't properly buried, you gotta pay money to unbury your son that was killed and won't even like given information about. Like, that is that's so crazy. And it shows that how much power affects, how much power, what power can do. Like, it's totally terrifying. And with this like documentary, it just showed that like you can get away with so much stuff. Like, Dan Snyder, like, just walking around freely. Like, you ran Nickelodeon. You were the face of Nickelodeon. All this happened behind the scenes and you didn't do anything. Anything. 2 predators, back to back, 4 months apart. We're just out here doing wrong with, like, talking to kids wrong, performing and doing stuff that weren't meant to be done with kids, having certain fetishes, and that wasn't looked at. That wasn't big headlined of, hey, red flag Nickelodeon, woo-boo, you got some issues. Like, no. It wasn't until recently that they got rid of Dan Snyder. And then the fact that he did the interview, and he did his little interview, and that by far, it just looked so input. Like, it didn't seem like he was sympathetic with anything he said. Oh yeah, I gotta give out a few apologies. So you have to do a lot more than that. A lot more. Like, no. Now, this is all my opinion. Other people may have other opinions. I respect it. I hope that you respect mine. But watching these shows now, it's like it's clicking. The documentary is making everything click. These kids, I did not mean to hit my mic so hard. But these kids were kids. Like, they were meant to be kids. They should have enjoyed being a kid, but it was just so much to the point where they just were so traumatized and put in uncomfortable situations. Like, the black guy was talking about how the dogs licked peanut butter off of him. And there were, like, girls on the show that had, like, to put their feet in different things. And, it was so much. Like, when I tell y'all gonna watch this documentary and be like, That was my reaction the whole time. I was just like, this is unreal. Like, no, this is crazy. So the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about was like the mental health aspect of it, because you see how important it is to get help, especially to speak up about these situations, because there are other people that can relate. There are other people that are in your shoes. You are not alone in certain battles. Whether it's depression, anxiety, PTSD, rather if you experience eating disorders, OCD, everything. You're not alone. Everybody has different mental hardships or physical hardships. Everything. Like, you're not alone. No matter what it is, there's some type of support group, a therapist, or anybody that you can talk to about these things. Like, you shouldn't have to be alone. And even in the kid aspect, oh my God, no. It shouldn't have even gone that far with Drake Bell's situation. Like, I was so mad at the mom. Like, after watching the documentary, I was so mad because I'm like, the dad was so on point with saying, watch after the kid. Don't let him be near this. Don't let him, that, like, that was so scary. Like, that was so hard. Like, he was, I was so mad. But you can't really be mad because, it was just a lot. Like, you can be mad, but it was just a lot. Like, that's a lot. And I felt like Drake Bell, he did his best to talk about it, and like, you could just see the pain. My heart. I want to give him a hug so bad. Like, bless his heart for real. And I hope and pray that all of them continue to grow and heal the way that they need to, and for future, matter of fact, not even for future, for other people that may have experienced this or are not able to talk about it, or just don't have that open outlet. I'm here, and I want to say I love you, and I'm so sorry that whatever you experienced, but healing is possible. You can grow from it. We can accept what happened and be able to address what happened, and to still find ourselves and find our identity and find the healing in ourselves. Like, it was just so crazy. And I really don't want this to happen ever again. Like, they all was just like, they don't want this to happen again. I feel like a lot more behind the scenes, like, just has to be pointed out. Like, because who knows what else is happening in this world that we don't know about. There are so many things that we don't know about, or are covered up because of power, and how it can be manipulated so easily. It drives me insane because of the fact that it's just like, whoo, child. But this podcast hopefully, gives that power, and shows the impact of how mental health is just as important as physical. Like, I'm gonna keep repeating this from day one, from September when we first started, all the way to now, because I think we're past our 6-month anniversary. I don't know. I gotta find out. If you know, happy anniversary, my Healing Hotspot podcast. I truly thank you all for supporting and, sticking through and, learning and growing with me. And yeah, no, I just, I want power to be put in the right hands, or power to be used in the correct way to make this world a better place. It's possible with unity, support, and everything. I feel like I'm putting so much emphasis on this, but like, I just really want mental health to just flourish. It's growing I feel like it's grown a lot compared to back then, because it showed like back then they didn't understand a lot of feelings. It was just like, they'll probably think I'm crazy for trying to talk about my feelings. Like, nowadays, mental health is more valid and noticed and recognized more than how it used to be. But I just feel like we can kickstart it a little bit more. Like, more resources have to be put in place for this. Like, maybe more reduced pricing for therapists, or more availability for therapists, or just give more treatment facilities, and so many other things too. Like, make more programs that are available for people to just be open and speak about their problems. All of these are different goals that I want to accomplish. I just got to get the right foundation, or take the right steps into where I want to go, because I am about to graduate. So with the job that I work, I hope I can do more, and providing more for the community, just do my part, and just making sure that mental health is taken care of just as anything else. Like, or just to bring more awareness to things that you never would have thought impacted your mental health. And so I just, for those who may be triggered by this documentary, if you feel like you're going to be triggered, take a break. Don't, or just like come back to it after a while, you know, because it can be triggering, but just know that it's possible to heal from that. You can heal from it. So yeah, the podcast, I said the podcast, Lord, I'm talking about my own. The documentary is crazy. I definitely recommend it. It's on HBO Max, and I think they got 6 episodes, 6, 8, I don't know. But yeah, watch everything if you can. If not, I understand. But like, if there's other documentaries that you think will be tied into mental health, let me know so we can watch them and I can talk about them too. Because anything, I'm gonna just find anything that correlates with mental health, and we're gonna talk about it because it's a big deal. And this documentary, it just hit me hard, and I was just like, immediately I was like, I want to talk about it with y'all, see how y'all feel. Let me know how you feel, by the way, in the comments, or you know, anything like that. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, repost, and you know, be sure to follow us on Instagram at healing_hotspot. Talk to us. You know, I'm getting better. I'm still tweaking a few things. Like, I realize I'm not as great with the social media thing. So just bear with me, because the fact that I am bi-weekly, so it might just be a little week where we just repost different mental health tips. Listen, take them in, because we might talk about them on the podcast, the episode the next day, or, you know, I'm working on social media. I'm an introvert / extrovert, but more introverted than anything. So like with social media, I'm not savvy with the internet. If you get my drift, like I'm trying. So if y'all got any tips for that, please let me know. Okay. We're trying. Okay. Then I'm trying to get more edit savvy and, you know, appealing to the eye. We're working on it. That's the biggest thing. We're working on it. So thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate you and I love you. And yeah, once again, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, repost if you want to just talk to me or anything like that. I'm here. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day. Love y'all. Bye.